All right, guys. I think this is working. We'll see. It's first time doing this, but wanted to try it out. And we took the poll earlier that said you guys want to hear a quick update on the cars. So go ahead and do so for you guys. Got a thumbs up, but nobody in here with me, so that's no problem. I'm sure you guys will catch this later on. But let me see if I can flip this camera around, and we'll just kind of take a quick little tour. As you guys know, if you've been keeping up with the channel, last like month pretty much is really just been focused on the C36, partly just because I'm super excited to have it. I want to get it ready for summer because I want to drive it a bunch spring and summer, so it's really been getting the brunt of all the attention. But C55 has also been getting some work in the background you guys don't know about, but I'll fill you in a little bit about. E420 has just been daily duties and just kind of being old faithful for the most part. That is awaiting the 5-liter swap. If you guys saw that video a while back, got the 5-liter M119. We're going to be rebuilding soon in this garage, most likely. So we'll get that over here. Hopefully summertime, we'll have that calling in the middle of a live. But yeah, hopefully summertime, we'll have that completed. Like early summer is the goal, to have that all done with the 5-liter in it. Echo back there, if you guys know the story on that car, we used to own that a long time ago. My mother-in-law's now, but M063, M55, they've also, for the most part, just been on daily duties. I am in a tough spot right now because we were leaning towards selling the M063, and now I really don't know which one. Like, there's a reason I want to sell one of them. It's for some other projects and things that I have in mind, but I don't know which one I really want to get rid of. I don't want to get rid of either one, to be honest, but one of them is most likely going to have to go. And it's really, really hard for us to choose right now. Update on the M063, it's running fantastic. It's also been like a daily driver, this and the E420. The power steering noise is like completely gone. I don't know if I have the key with me. I don't actually, otherwise I'll start up for you guys. But yeah, it's literally like the noise is gone. It seems pretty much good to go. I've been keeping an eye on it because, like I said, if I was going to sell one of these, I don't want to, give this up if it wasn't in good shape. So I'm really making sure it's all good to go. I'm going to do pulley and tensioner on there, and just other things like maintenance regardless for both SUVs. They're both kind of due for some things. So I want to make them nice and spick and span for whoever may own them sometime in the near future. But it's like pulling teeth. I really don't know which one should go. I'm sure you guys are gonna be mad at me either way if one of them does go, but yeah, that's kind of the update right now. They've really just been fantastic daily drivers, as they always are, and awaiting some love. So C36 special video tomorrow. I'm not going to give it away. I'll let you guys kind of find out once we're there, but we had some very special visitors stop by and help me do a really cool upgrade on the C36 that nobody knows you can do yet, really. So this is going to be a first time for people to know that this is possible, and revealing kind of a new possibility, new product for you guys. So that'll be cool. I haven't done a video on it yet, but we did get the 4-pot brake setup from the C55 to work. And I didn't have to run a shim, actually, which is cool. I do have a buddy that is has a laser cutter. Sent him dimensions and drawings for him to make me basically like a 2.5mm shim, so I can bring the rotor out exactly perfect. But honestly, once I bled the brakes and got the pad set up on it, like, it's in pretty good position and it drove fantastic. So 10mm spacers are also on it from Motorsport Hardware. I'll do a video on that soon. I still haven't thrown the rears on. You'll see why in tomorrow's video, but yeah, that's about it for C36. I did put one of the door seals on. I haven't done the rest of them, but the one that I did turned out pretty good. C55, why is it all everything open, hood open, trunk open? I'm not gonna say anything about this because this is a really cool surprise that's coming up soon, but if you know what usually goes there, you can put 2 and 2 together. We're up to something. We are really up to something. So yeah, I will just leave it there. I'm not gonna say much. But sitting on the battery charger right now, just keeping things fresh. Oh, you see a little secret right there. I'm not gonna do anything, but yeah, it's just being waiting around for me to drive it pretty much, and waiting for those modifications that are in the works. Really excited for this year for this car. Like, yeah, this has been taking my attention, but this has a lot in store that you guys don't know about yet, but you will hopefully soon. Probably within the next week, you'll see some of it, not all of it, but yeah, we got some good stuff going for that. So for the most part, I see we got 3 people in here. Hello to whoever those 3 are. I can't see. I don't know if there's a way to see that, but yeah, for the most part, all the cars have been getting stuff done. I just haven't updated on much besides this thing. So slowly, little by little, we're getting there. I just really want to get this thing sorted. I do have the water pump for it as well, right here. Got to throw this in because this thing is definitely making noise when cold and starting to weep a little bit too. So got to get that taken care of. And then for the most part, it's pretty much gonna be a runner. I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing to it after I kind of get things settled. It's gonna be kind of perfecting the little flaws, like body wise. I really want to do a paint correction on it and correct like some little things in the body. Like there's I'll flip the camera on I guess again, but a little bit of a wave on this fender. So I'm gonna hit up local PDR guru, see if we can get that sorted. Got the backup fender that we picked up from the pick and pull just in case. If not, but I don't think he'll have a problem with it. And then we got to repaint at least this side skirt, probably both of them to be honest, and refinish this wheel. And then after that, it's really just like a few interior pieces, center console, box on top or whatever you call that, the lock box has some cracking in it, not terrible, but definitely has a little bit of wear on top of it. Australia, question mark. I don't know what the, oh yeah, I'm in the US, sorry. Yes, in Seattle, Washington. I don't know if that question from me, but, oh, okay, you were commenting something before in Australia. Okay, I got you. Sorry, I missed the previous comment. But yeah, other thing besides that, this center trim, but if you guys know the 202s, this is like the hardest one to find. I don't think this is C36 specific, but yeah, it's a rare orientation, I guess, for this center piece. Normally you'll see like this mirror toggle in the middle and then like one button over here or a different layout. This one is the hardest one to find, and in this wood especially, it's proving tricky to find. So I do have a buddy that offered the whole like carbon fiber trim from the Era, which I am a fan of, but I kind of want to keep this car with the wood that it has right now. So I'll just be patient. I'll find that trim once I can. And yeah, for the most part, I think that's kind of covering the basis. What up from Ellensburg? Hey, what's going on? PNW for the win, I guess, huh? What level W210? I don't know if I caught the whole comment on that. But yeah, I think for the most part, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, I mean, I'm here. Let me know, and I'm happy to answer. I'll hang out with you guys for a bit. Thank you guys for jumping in. It's very last minute, but just responding. You guys said yes in the poll, so wasn't really an opportunity to make an actual video in between now and tomorrow. So I figured this would be a good time to try live. I've never done a live, so yeah. Tomorrow, by the way, the video I'm talking about will be at noon, just like normal. All the videos I've been putting out lately, putting them out at noon. Seems like that's when you guys are most active, or it's easier for you guys to catch the videos. So I'm just sticking with that. That's noon Pacific Standard Time. So different times for many of you guys elsewhere in the world, but yeah, we'll catch it tomorrow, Saturday, 12 o'clock, noon Pacific Standard Time. You won't want to miss it for sure. A lot of good stuff takes place for this car. It was much needed. You'll see what I'm talking about in tomorrow's video, but much needed. And it was just really cool to have the special guest that I had come by. So yeah, I don't know if there's a way, is there a way for me to see all of the comments on here? I've seen like, oh, there we go. I've been in people's lives before, but I've never made my own life. Look at my crazy hair right now. Okay. Hey, what's up, Wally? I see you. That was you asking about the 210. There we go. So, anyone looking for a cheap 210 wagon? Oh, I see. Probably somebody. I don't know. In reality, guys, I really don't have like that many car buddies like right close to me. A lot of my car buddies are in California, or I have a buddy in Idaho. But like even that said, all my like Mercedes-Benz fellow Benz lovers are somewhere else. Like I've met a few people. I just met somebody really cool the other day actually. So like sprinkle here and there, I'll meet people in the area. I do have some good friends that said in the area, but nobody that I link up with all the time, like car related stuff. So I'm sure there's somebody out there that wants a cheap 210 wagon, but hit up PNW 210. I'm sure he's always buying cars. So yeah, he might be interested. He's in the area too. Yeah, that's about it. Let me go back to the comments, see if you guys are still there. Digital connections. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, so many people, like that's the coolest thing about this for me is all the connections I made, like with now friends from all over. That's probably the most enjoyable part for me, other than like driving the cars and experiencing the cars. Of course, that's awesome, but the friends, that's like the beautiful part of doing all this, is getting to meet people, getting to have a common language, common passion in the cars. And for me, like a big thing for my channel is just being an open book and open source so that people can, you know, have these things and make it more feasible for people to have them, even if you're not making crazy money. For those that don't know, I'm a teacher, so I don't make crazy money by any means. Hopefully one day, you know, that'll help with the cars. But yeah, like even that said, I've found a way to, you know, acquire these things for relatively cheap. Like I have these 5 cars that, you know, I would consider 2 or 3 of them like dream cars of mine at one point. And probably all 5 of them cost less than a lot of people's, you know, normal newer daily drivers. So if you know what to look for, and I also kind of bought them at good times. Car prices are wild right now, so I guess that's a fun thing we could do. I could tell you guys what I paid for each one of these cars. What do you guys think? Pile of cars, well bought. Yeah, I tried. So I guess we could reveal it. That's kind of a fun thing, a special thing for those that are here. I've never really talked about what I've bought all these for, except for this one, I think. E420, you guys are gonna either laugh or cry at this. I bought this thing for, I think like $2,000, and it came with like $800 worth of body kit. I still have the bumper left over, but I actually sold the rear bumper and the side skirts because side skirts on this are fine with me, and it has a sport bumper in the rear, so I didn't want to change those, but I do want to change the front. That's like the AMG version 2, I think. Replica, not a real one, so otherwise it'd be worth crazy money, but that will be going on. I still need to repaint the hood. This thing is like really close to being fully dialed because the rest of it mechanically, I'm in some great shape. We've done so much work to it, like wiring and all that stuff, but the body, the exterior needs some love now. So the hood, bumper, etc. Anyways, tangent, but ML63, I paid a little under 13 grand for it. And literally, if I sell it, like, I don't even care to make that much on it. I spent the money. I basically like look at it like, if I do end up selling this, whatever one I pick, I might even list them both for sale, and whatever sells. But I basically got to experience this car for whatever it is, 2 years now, kind of for free in my mind, because I'll be able to sell it for the same, if not more, because of the work that I did, opening the M156 up and taking care of all the common flaws, you know, head bolts, what's it called, cam buckets, the cam adjuster plates. It's got upgraded ARP hardware. Like, this thing's good to go. The whole intention of me doing that was because I thought my wife was gonna like this car better, you know, want something newer, because she drives this majority. And I figured, you know, something newer, safer, whatever else, figured she would enjoy it. But then we both kind of still like driving this thing a bit more. So yeah, that was a game plan. I was going to make it basically invincible so that we could keep it forever. That's why I did everything with the M156, and because I wanted to learn how to work on them. And it was a pleasant surprise that I love working on the M156. Very easy to work on, and very, very beastly motor, as you guys have seen from the videos. But anyways, yeah, that was around 13 grand that I paid for that. The M155, way back in the day now, I think I paid $4,500 for it. It had 130,000 miles at the time, and it's now nearing like 180. The M163 had 120 when I bought it. It's at 132 now and some change. This had 180,000 on the cluster, but I actually found out that the 4.2 liter M119 in it had been replaced early on in its life at around like 80,000 miles. And the cluster hadn't been working for probably at least a year when I got it, like the odometer. So it could have a bit more miles on the chassis, but probably still under 200,000, because the guy that had it before me didn't really drive it. So yeah, the C36, I don't know if I should tell you guys what I paid for that. What do you guys think? I'm revealing too many secrets right now. Okay, I'll say it because I feel like I got a pretty fair deal, and I was happy to support my guy Al. Okay, this car. So Al won this car at auction for 8,500 bucks, and basically, you know, with fees and all that, so there's a lot of fees that go involved with auction cars and state tax and all that stuff. So out the door was basically like 10 grand, and then I paid basically 1,500 bucks to Al, because he didn't even put this up for sale. He just hit me up straight away. It's basically like throwing my buddy some cash for hooking me up with a good deal. So I say in my head like 10 grand pretty much I paid for this thing. And in today's market, 120,000 mile car, one owner, with all like service records from the dealer and the upgrades that I found after I got home, that made it even more worth it. Like, it has the Bilstein B12 kit on it, stainless steel brakes, came with the super rare AMG engraved brake calipers up front, has the original monoblock still. Like, everything considered about the car, I feel like I got a fantastic deal now, and I already felt like I got a pretty good deal when I first bought it. For being a sight unseen car, never doing that before, flying to California, driving it home, it was scary before, you know, I got to see it in person, whatever, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I've been pleasantly surprised with all the work that I've done now, just kind of taking a closer look. I'm happy with 10 grand for what it is. I feel like I could turn around tomorrow and sell it for more. I will never sell this thing though, so it doesn't really matter. That's why I guess I don't care telling you guys the prices. These two cars, don't even ask. They're never for sale. These three, I guess they all have potential, but I don't want to sell any of them. But yeah, C55, I've said this before. This is kind of a weird one, because before this car, so my first ever Benz was a 202, a 99 C230 compressor. That car got hit, and I basically needed to get a car real quick. So I found I think it was a 2004 W203 compressor. Didn't have the same nice M111 motor in it. It has the later, I forget what it's called, but anyways, had the 1.8 liter compressor motor. It was a fantastic deal at the time. I got it for like 6,500 bucks, and it had like 60,000 miles on it. It was a one owner W203. It was silver, sport package. Like, it was a cool car, but it's not what I wanted long term. It's just what I had to get, because I literally had like 2 weeks to get a new car to get to work. So I found that, and then I ended up finding this C55 at a dealer in Tacoma. Shout out to Tacktown if you guys are in the area. But in Tacoma, this is at a dealer sitting there, and basically it was like I think at the time 120,000 miles, 124,000 miles, can't remember. And they messed up and they listed it as like having a bunch of owners, more than I actually had. Wasn't at the right dealership, wasn't the right situation. And basically I kept calling them. I'll flip the camera around for this part, but I like negotiating. I like haggling around, and this was the biggest haggle that I ever got myself into. It was probably a good solid month of back and forth with this dealership, and I basically came down to like, look, at the time these cars weren't that popular yet. Like this is, you know, I don't know, 5-6 years ago now. I basically told him like, nobody's gonna touch this car with a 10-foot pole. You guys are at kind of an unknown dealership in Tacoma. The car doesn't have the best history. It's from the East Coast. I've looked at it, I've driven it. Like, I know what this car is. I can take care of it. I'm not afraid of purchasing it, but you guys are never gonna sell this car, because it had been sitting. They were one of those people that, dealers that would post like a car on Craigslist like 20 times trying to get people to notice it. And that just makes it look worse. It makes you look desperate, so in my opinion. So I basically just kept telling them that nobody's gonna buy it. I'm the guy that's gonna buy it. Let me work a deal with you guys. So I told them I have this C230 compressor. Let me trade this car to you guys. You guys will be able to sell it in a few days, because it's a way easier car to sell, low mileage, one owner, yada, yada, yada. And after a long back and forth, the owner of the dealership finally called me one day and he was basically like, you want the damn car? And I was like, yes, I've been telling you this for a month. And yeah, he said, come get it. So I literally took off from work. It was like 50-minute drive from where I was at the time. Took off down to Tacoma, and it was a weird feeling because I brought like a backpack with me, and got there with, you know, 2 keys for my compressor, grabbed my backpack out of it, locked it, and walked into the dealership to sign off the papers to that car and basically acquire this car. So I had a loan for that car at the time, the compressor, and I think I owed like $4,600 on it or something like that. And then I got this car. I basically like swapped my loan for $1,000 more. So I think I got this car for, I don't even know how you do the math on that. Basically, I went from a loan for $4,500 to a loan for $5,500. And then I just paid it off right after I got it, like within a year. So it was just a way to make the move happen, and I was super happy. But yeah, that's the weird story of how I acquired the C55. So I have a whole video on that. That was way back when I did a video on that. It's an even crazier story after I left the dealership, what happened. So if you guys are interested, you can go check out that video. Me talking about that whole scenario. It was a bit wild, in all honesty. But yeah, I guess that reveals all of it. What do you guys think, by the way? Did any of them, did I pay too much? Did I pay too little? I don't think you can pay too little for a car, but let me see what you guys are saying, by the way. Equity in the E420. Yeah, I would say so for sure. I don't know what, like, in your guys' opinion, what do you guys think this car is worth? Especially after I do the 5-liter swap. Let's imagine the 5-liter swap, the hood's repainted. The rest of the paint is actually in really good shape. The hood's repainted. I got the AMG replica bumper in the charcoal on the front. What is this car worth to you guys? I have no clue in today's market. Like, my mind tells me like 8 to 10. I really don't know though. It's hard to know for sure what cars are worth nowadays in today's market. C36 was a steal on it. Yeah, I kind of feel like that too, honestly. Yeah, even at the time, I felt really good about the purchase, but with discovering what I have on it since then, it's like even more so. Like I said, suspension, brakes, all that stuff, like how healthy the motor is, I feel pretty happy about it. Ollie, you say 8 to 10. Yeah, that's kind of what my mind tells me. Hard to know for sure. I mean, I've never seen a 5-liter 6-speed swapped W124 for sale. So I don't know what this car is worth. I don't think I can sell it, but here's one. I will never sell this car, like I said, but what is this car worth? What is a C55 worth? That's something I think about all the time. I see these cars going for like oh my God, man, people are ridiculous. I see them locally for like 18 grand, and they're nothing crazy special or anything. They're just a C55 that people are getting rid of. Cars and bids. I know you got me thinking about that watching your video. Honestly, I don't know, like because my plan essentially is I may just put both of these up for sale at the time, and whichever one sells first, that's the one that's, I guess, meant to be. But I don't even know if I'm gonna make like actual listings. I might just list it for you guys and see what you guys would think. But 12K for C55, I know I don't. It's kind of built to my own liking nowadays, so I guess somebody would have to like the way I built it to want to buy it. It's a bit different from your normal C55, that's for sure, and getting even more different soon. If you guys missed that part of the live in the beginning, it's missing something over here right now. That's something special in the works. I actually got it though, so it'll be back in tomorrow. But you know, things like I cut out the strut towers, put in our own custom camber plates. Shout out to the Kangaroos team for developing those with me. Those are for sale, by the way. You can find these on Kangaroos team's site, W203, and any other Mercedes model that has that same strut tower camber plates. Other thing planned for this car too, I got to match the valve covers. These things look shot compared to this nice refreshed intake manifold, so those will get torn off soon so I can redo those. But yeah, I feel like I got a lot to talk about with you guys now that we actually started this. There's a lot of topics that could come up right now. C55s are hovering around 12, 13, yeah, with the manual. You think it's worth more with the manual? That's the thing I never know. Like some people, I guess it depends. I would say it just depends on the buyer. Because like there was, I think, Jake, you saw that C32 that was listed around me not too long ago that was manual swapped. And the guy was asking a bit much for it, in my opinion. Cool guy. I ended up talking to him afterwards. He has some really cool builds, but I think in the market, I think he was listing like 14 or 16. So I guess it could sell to somebody who really wants it, and maybe they would want the car without having to do the work for the swap. But never know. I have less people looking to buy it. It's worth more. 210 E55 was 716. Yeah, I think I saw that one. Yeah, that seems like the common theme right now, like around 10 to 15 for these manual swap cars. I know, yeah, I guess it depends on the scenario. Like this car, if it was manual swapped, I don't know if it would have been worth as much. Like I feel like, I don't know. I wouldn't have minded either way. I would have been a little bit disappointed because if I'm going to manual swap it, I want to do it myself, so I know exactly what was done. But I wouldn't have said no to buying it if it was already manual swapped. I would have probably just changed it up a bit or pulled the manual to know exactly what was going on or upgrade things. If you guys are out there and you're thinking about manual swapping, the biggest thing that I've learned and this has to do with kind of like what you prefer anyways, but the thing that I've learned having the C55 first and having the factory flywheel setup, the dual mass, like it's plenty good, don't get me wrong. It holds the power. I've been thrashing on this car for 3 years now with the manual setup, and it really hasn't hiccuped at all. Knock on wood, wherever the wood is. But it's a different feel when I compare it to this thing that has the Kangaroos team single mass kit in it. This feels, to my liking, feels way better. It just feels more responsive. The revs don't hang as long. It's quicker, like when you're throwing it into the next gear. It just feels a little bit faster responding, and it feels like that would be much more suited, like appropriate for the way this car is being built. So that is actually in the works for this year. We'll be pulling the manual and doing the upgrade. But that has to do with some other things that are going on and some other special things in the works. So that will be happening. You guys just don't know like how or what exactly yet. But yeah, that's what I've learned. So if you guys are thinking about manual swapping a car, I definitely recommend going the single mass route. Unless you're just doing like daily driving with the car, you'll totally be happy with the dual mass. But any type of like spirited driving, aggressive driving, I find that I enjoy that one a little more. And this car is not even fast. I mean, it's like a momentum car. It's quick, it's not slow, but it's fun to drive because you can drive it like 10/10s pretty much, because it's only 275 horsepower. The WN24 is a very planted car. Pretty much like always has traction. That's what they're kind of known for. Even their rear-wheel drive models in snow and everything, they're pretty good. Staying on the road if you got decent tires on it. So yeah, it's a fun car to drive hard, even if it's not that fast. But let's see, what'd you say? How has 716 held up for you? Yeah, it's like I said, it's been in the car. The C55s has the later version of the 716, so it's the, you know, round bell housing that you'll find on all the 320 models, the Crossfires, etc. And it's awesome. I had to do some experimenting at the beginning with fluid. If you guys are familiar with that era, some of them, you know, had like bulletins out for, you know, the first initial ones put like 1.5 liters worth of fluid instead of 1.8 or whatever else. So I experimented around a lot with different fluids. There's videos on that from back then. I tried like Redline MTF. I tried I think it was a Valvoline Synchro Mesh. And the one that ended up being the happiest for the trans was just the factory Phoebe fluid. It's a GL4, and that's what's worked for me. These cars both, like, the thing that's helped the most is actually the cooler work shifter. When it's cold, the 716, I think that this is just a behavior of them in general, because everyone that I've driven is like this. In the cold, which you may never know if you are like California somewhere, you might never ever feel it, but 1 to 2 shift is like a little, it's not grinding, it's not crunching, it's just like way harder than it should be. Not even hard, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like too notchy, a little crunchy feeling, but not like grinding a gear or anything like that. And then as soon as the car is warmed up, it's gone. And that car was like that at first. This car was like that at first. And then when I upgraded the shifters on both of them, it's hardly noticeable. But everyone that I know that has them with the stock shifters, or a lot of people that I know that have them that are in any type of cold weather, they all say that same thing. And they're all like, there's so many forum posts from back then, even on Crossfire forums and all types of stuff you dig around. So many people are trying to figure out, like, what's the best fluid? How do you get rid of this 1 to 2 cold shift problem? Blah, 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 blah. And I think it's just a behavior of the transmission. And I think that they're a lot stronger than people. I feel like I know at this point, they're a lot stronger than people think. I know multiple people now with like 2-3 years on M113Ks that have this gearbox in them with no issues. So running it on a 400 horsepower NA, like, I mean, time will tell, but it's been 3 years, and pretty much every time I drive this car, I drive it hard, at least for some period of time while I'm out. And it's been totally solid. So let's see. Oh, you say just worried about the power making C32. I don't think you'll break a gear, Jake, for real. Like, I guess if you totally thrashed on it and like didn't, I don't know. If you're paying attention at all how you're shifting, like if you get a good shifter setup in it, or even just a really well sorted like factory shifter setup, like I don't think you'll have any issues, unless you know, there's always a chance for human error. Like the first time I ever slipped the clutch in this car was recently, actually, because I was out with my buddy and got too excited and tried to do a launch in first gear, and I didn't sidestep the pedal in time, so the clutch pedal got like stuck in between like engage and disengage, and I basically roasted it like all the first gear, and that was human error. That was my fault. Otherwise, I've never like roasted the clutch. I've never anything in this car. I've actually burnt this clutch more, but that was when I had some issues going on with the throttle body that was basically messing everything up. So that really didn't have to do with the gearbox either. But yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about them being able to hold the power. Now, if you start throwing like, you know, 7+ horsepower or 700+ horsepower at it, you know, big torque numbers, and you're like totally slamming gears, I don't know, you'll probably break one. But even then, if you drive it with some sensibility or like some care, I think you can make them last for a long time. Thoughts on a rally build in a W203 C200? That would be wild. I love rally cars, so I would say a yes to that. I wouldn't say no to like any rally car, really. You say, why did I jump on Benz? Why would you jump a Benz? That explains it. Explain. I'm confused. Let's see if I miss anything else. Oh, okay. I missed the comment. Okay, I see what you're talking about now, Jake. If I jump the car, oh man, don't know. There is a C55 drift car. Yeah, shout out to, what's his Instagram name again? Sausage. Why am I forgetting it now? I apologize right now. We've talked so many times. I'm blanking. This is a problem with being a teacher and trying to remember many names. My name memory. Yeah, steak sausages. Thank you, Jake. I'm forgetting his first name right now too, which apologize. We talked many times, but OM606 wagon drift car. There's a couple of them that I've seen, but yeah, those are sick too. I have I don't know, OM606 would be cool to build. I don't know if it would be like something long term for me. I feel like I might get bored of like the rev range on that car, but at the same time, I don't know, you can build them pretty wild. They're pretty much like torque monsters, so it'd be fun. I have no knowledge of diesels, to be honest, so I'd be like in a foreign world, but it'd be cool to be able to learn a bit more about them, because like I said, I know nothing about them right now. I mean, I know something, but I've never worked on them. So let's see. No plans for manual, but a supercharged engine on my C55. Yeah, that's a popular thing people want to do all the time. I'm not opposed to it. For my car, I'll never put a compressor on it. I'm just not interested. If I was going to do it, I recommend people, unless you find some steel on like a Kleeman kit or something, just do a whole M113K swap. Otherwise, there's way more parts involved than people think. Putting the compressor onto the NA M113s, but everything is according to. So if you found everything for a super steel, I don't know, go for it. But for me, I've never been interested in doing that for this car. This car has always been about like power to weight for me. Its end goal is becoming a full-time track car someday. It's not there yet. It's still very much a street car, but someday, hopefully. But it's weird. This shows me the comments for a second, and then it makes them go away, so I gotta look back. But best engine swap for a 2002 W203? Depends. I would say, you know, from our C55 group chat, Jake's seen, a popular thing I've seen lately is like putting the W209 front ends on the 203s, and then you can put M113 in them a lot easier. So I think that's a great budget swap. I mean, you can find 5-liter M113s all day long for nothing, and if you tune them and just make them reliable, you can have, you know, a 350 horsepower car, and if you put a manual in it, it's a pretty good recipe for a really fun car. So, and you can do it for cheap. Yeah, I think that's Marcin. He has the Marcin Turbo. He has the M104 CLK that used to be, I think it's been through a couple different like iterations, but there's, man, guys in Europe hand it to us, to be honest, in terms of like the cool swaps and everything that's been out there. Hey Dave, what's going on? You guys say thank you to Dave for the M119, the 5-liters. He's the one that sent it over here. He's the one that found it and really helped out the channel hooking it up with that motor. So big shout out to you, Dave. Thank you. looking at your guys' comments. Let's see. Yeah, M104 turbo build. Honestly, I was gonna get a 202 regardless. So my other plan, like I'm biased towards the 202 because it was my first Mercedes, but I really do think they're just an awesome kind of in between of the older stuff and kind of right on that cusp of the 2000s. I think they're just a good mix. So I was gonna get one regardless, and I did have my eyes on getting an older C280 and then doing a turbo build. There's still a possibility that we could do a turbo build on the 3.6, but it's just not as good of an option just because the cylinders are already very close together. You really got to get a good seal on a head gasket if you try to do it on the 3.6. It definitely can be done. Many people have done it, but they're pretty special motors nowadays. And if I did it, I would really have to take my time, do it right, probably hit up Hedgehog and Hedgehog tuning and get the best multi-layer steel gasket I could if I was to do that. But yeah, 2.8s overall, like you're just better off get a 2.8, get a 3.2 if you're gonna M104 turbo build. I don't really have plans to do that for this car. That would be wild if I did it. I'd rather get another C280 and try it on that car. This car is good the way it is. The only real big modifications that I have on my mind for the C36 is putting it on a standalone setup. One of my cousin-in-laws has like a link distributor, so we've been talking about putting a link into it, probably like a link G4X or something like that. But if I do that, then it will be a lot easier to tune and we can kind of open up some possibilities. But I don't think I'll turbo it, to be honest. Yeah, you could find a old M104 for pretty cheap and build it up. They're a great platform to mess around with and build for boost, definitely, in the German world. Trying to see. Yes, sir, Dave. Thanks, buddy. No problem. Don't want to get a 6-cylinder, though. Why not? Inline sixes are some of the best motors ever. I mean, in my opinion, everyone's got different tastes, but yeah. Speaking of ITBs, yeah, I won't jump in anymore, but yeah, you're onto something with that. That's all I'll say. But Turbo M, yeah, I was gonna say Ollie's got a super sick. You guys go check out anyone that's in here that has a YouTube channel, but I know Ollie definitely does. Go check his channel out. He has a sick turbo M103 build. Those are really sneaky motors to build. Like you can turbo those things for like just like the M104. You can turbo them for pretty decent money and get a lot in return. And you can find cars with the M103 all day long. There's literally, man, if I had more room to stick cars, there's like a $500, I think it was like an 86 or 87 300E nearby me. It might be gone by now. It was listed like 5 weeks ago, but I was very tempted to go get it. It's like roll down windows, cloth interior that's still super nice. It was all blue. It wasn't two-tone. It was all navy blue on the outside. That was a cool car. I definitely considered, but we got too many cars sitting around here, so. Yeah, speaking of, I'll shout them out. You guys should definitely go check them out if you guys haven't, but Alumotive, shout out to Ian and Kenny. They are developing ITB kits for lots of different motors, but M113 is one of them. M104 they have in the works, and I'm sure others down the line. So if you guys are interested in ITBs, definitely good place to go check them out. There's M1 or manual 120 or 140. 2.8 M1. Oh, that's weird. I haven't seen one of those in a while. It's a 5-speed, I assume. I guess 15 grand would depend on 5-speed. Okay, yeah. What's the mileage at? I guess it depends on like what it's history is like for 15 grand. But that's what I see typically, like with the W140s. If they're in good shape, people list them pretty high. But I think they sell for it because after a while they are gone. So there was a really nice W140 S600 that was actually close by me not long ago. I assume it sold because I haven't seen it for a while on wherever it was, Facebook Market. But it was very original, had like a bunch of stuff rebuilt on it all properly. And I think it was like 18 grand the guy was asking. So those are, that's another car that'd be fun to experiment with the manual. That's one that you guys have requested many times if I was going to manual swap something. What would you guys like to see more? An S600 manual swap, like an old one? I want an M120. I don't want the newer V12s unless it was a twin turbo, but M120 manual swap or M156 manual swap. That's one that I go back and forth with. M156 I think is easier to acquire for a good deal nowadays, but $30K for a W140 V12, I don't doubt it. You say M156, yeah. You'll see in the video tomorrow, there's actually a car that maybe has the potential to join the channel at some time. We'll see. New York, buddy of mine is attempting to manual swap his R129 SO600. That's a good one to have a manual in. That's like the perfect combo. A little Sportster with the manual V12. I don't think an M112 swap would be that fun. Sounds cool in theory. It should be relatively straightforward. The bell housing, I believe, is the same depending on what year. So it should made up. And then clutch, I think that was the one thing. The flywheel pattern, I can't remember. I know I did all the research with this to know what parts would fit on it. And I think it's pretty straightforward, but I don't know for sure. Sub M16. Yeah, I saw that truck in Australia. That one's crazy. That guy put a lot of time and money into that car for sure. Yeah, Dave, I agree. Like, actually, well, I'll just tell you guys, tomorrow, the guests that are going to be in the video, they brought a C63. And I'd never actually been in one. I think I sat in one before. I've been around them a bunch, but I've never like gone on a drive in a C63 before. So getting to experience that car yesterday, or when was that? Yesterday, 2 days ago? I can't remember, but imagining it with rowing the gears, that would be a fantastic combo. Yeah, 726s do. I wish that they made the 716s modular like they did the 22.6s of the time. That would make it that would be a game changer if all of them were like the 22.6, like being able to take off those bolts to take off the front half of the bell housing. That'd be sick. Speaking of manual truck, a crazy build that I've thought about so many times, kind of because it's like of era with Chrysler, Mercedes. And I've always been kind of a fan of that body style, even though it's weird. You guys might find this weird, but the Dakota Sports, like the Dodge Dakota Sport, and and they came manual too. I thought it would be rad to put like an M113 into one of those with a manual. And I really want a truck. Mercedes only makes the X-Class over in Europe, which is basically a Nissan Frontier. But that's something I would love to build. Like, throw an M113K with a 6-speed in a truck. That's another build that's crossed my mind so many times. And you can find those Dakotas for like nothing in pretty good shape, with like either blown motors or still running. I was just looking last night, actually, just out of curiosity. Yeah, I would say go for it. As a dude, I want to manual swap my car so bad, 09 C63. Yeah, I think, yeah, discontinued the X-Class. I know. They were talking about bringing it to America, and I don't know what happened with that. Probably didn't sell enough, but the guy never got back to me. I don't know if it actually happened, but there was a guy that commented a long time ago on one of the MO55 videos that said he was in the process of manual swapping his MO55 because I'm sure you guys know, but The M155 over in Europe, or not the M155, but the W163 in Europe, I don't know if the US got it, but it did come manual in certain models. So there's parts out there for it to convert it. Definitely would take more work than the other ones I've done, but you could do it. Yeah, nobody bought it. Same with the V-Doug M-Rock. Yeah. How's the M155? Yeah, we were talking earlier. Sorry, I did this live out of nowhere, but M155 is good. It's just chilling. That M163 and the E420 really see the most like daily duties. It's getting dark out here quick, by the way, but yeah, it's doing good. It's due for just some basic maintenance. I'm gonna do a video pulling the valve body and replacing, you know, filter fluid, all that type of stuff. I'll do the conductor plate. I've had a conductor plate for it for a long time. It's still doing just fine, but it's nearing, you know, 180 plus thousand miles now. So I think it's a good idea to do the conductor plate on it. So yeah, it's where it's kind of sitting at. I need to do the little, I forget what it's called, where the pressure port, the oil pressure port is on the front, that little fitting that has the gasket behind it. I need to do the gasket on that because it's leaking. And I also need to do the oil filter housing gasket on that car and this car soon. So I'll have videos on that. But yeah, overall it's doing good. Nice. We need to get the twins together soon here in Bellevue. Hey, yeah, I'm down. Yeah, you also got yours. Is yours also black or different color? I can't remember. I know you told me before. Yeah, 180K. I know it's crazy. We've had it since, I think I bought it with 130,000, like 135,000 miles when I got it. So we put a lot of miles on it. Yeah, black. That's what I thought. We do got to get them together. Twinning M155s. 156K miles on the M156. Nice. I think in years' time, people are gonna like pick out the names on the engine plaques for the M156 that survived and didn't ever have head bolt issues for the early on cars. Although I think that issue is way overblown in my personal opinion, especially after doing mine, and really only one of them, two of them maybe had like any signs of corrosion. But yeah, I'm just reading through the comments, guys. Sorry, I'm staring at the phone right now. Had an M155. Black, it was dumb going that fast and not seeing front end being tall. Hated it. Hall of Fame, yeah, for the engine plaque builders with the high mileage M156s. There's so many of them out there though. People really give the M156 a bad rap, in my opinion. Had a W204 C300 come in for an oil change at the dealer the other day, and an AMG plaque on it. That's hilarious. M272 with the AMG plaque. That's a custom mod for sure. I was trying to see if I missed any of your guys' comments. They were caught up, yeah. Oh, I saw your comment, Jake. Manual 124 or 140 sold. Yeah, all the ones that I have seen pop up, I've only seen probably 3 or 4 over the years, but they always seem to go pretty fast. Those 5-speed 140s. Very rare cars. One car I don't think I've ever seen for sale locally is a 5-speed R129. Those would be a cool car to have. The M104 with the 5-speed from factory. Pretty cool. Oh, Dave, I saw your comment too. Yeah, ML230 came with manual. Oh, you do? Oh, you have all the manual parts with 163. That's awesome. My wife might kill me if I manual swap that. Sorry, Roshi, if you're watching. She wouldn't kill me, but she'd be like, what the heck is this? I think I would just have to be forced to teach her how to drive manual for sure at that point. Elijah, why do I like Mercedes? Funny question. Well, I guess you could blame the C36. That was the first car. I was literally like 15. I talk about this in the reveal video for that car, but 15 years old, surfing on Craigslist over here, and I see a C36, and everything about it, I just loved. Like, I've always loved boxier cars, and I just felt like the W202 did it the best. Like, it's round, but it's boxy. The monoblocks, the different color combination you get with them. Like, I just fell in love with that car when I saw it on Craigslist, and it had like really good pictures. I don't even know when this was. This has to be, I'm 32 years old, so That was high school time, so probably like 2005, 2006, I'm guessing, around. This is before I even had a car of my own. I didn't get my first car until I was 18. Um, but yeah, I found that car on Craigslist, and I just never could get it out of my head. The W202, every time I saw one out in the real world after that, I was like, I'm going to have one of those cars one day. And didn't actually buy my first W202 C230 compressor, which was my first Benz we talked about earlier, till I was like 23. So first car ever was a Mitsubishi Eclipse GS, a 94. That was when I was 18. We bought it for like 1,800 bucks. And then after that, I had a bunch of Hondas. I had like some Type R replicas, GSRs. They all got stolen or messed around with. And I soon realized that as much as I loved Hondas and that experience, I did not like the culture in that world and the thievery that would take place, unfortunately, like really unfortunately, because there's some awesome people in the Honda world. But yeah, I didn't like that part of it. So I figured I'd learned enough about cars. I felt confident in taking care of a Mercedes, even though everyone told me German cars are unreliable and blah, 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 blah. Didn't believe it. Wanted to learn for myself. And I realized in the end that my C230 compressor cost less than maintaining my Hondas. And I had it for 3-4 years and never once let me down. It was an awesome, awesome car. So yeah, I guess that's how it all happened. W202 is the best. Elijah, feel old. That's all right, man. Haven't seen any in Chicago. I'm just reading your guys' comments right now. When I was born. That's all right. I'm probably old compared to you. That's okay. Still young at heart. I'm 19 forever, I think. I still feel like a kid, but yeah, I'm 32 now. P30, yeah. P30s are kind of rare for the 0908s. You don't see them as much. 204 is AMG Sport or Avantgarde package. More rare to see regular 204. Yeah, and I guess as soon as I got into Mercedes, and then with that first experience with the compressor, that's what made me like really fall head over heels for the brand, especially that era. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of newer cars at all. I keep up with things just like to pay attention to what's going on, but I love older cars. Like, I started out as a kid, adoring like muscle cars and things like that. That's what I grew up around with. And then I love like 90s, like, box Chevys and like Caprices and stuff. Like, I love all kinds of stuff, but it's all older. Like, there's nothing really that, I don't know. If I had an open checkbook, I'd probably spend it all on older cars. Like, I wouldn't buy maybe a few newer cars, but too many computers in new cars, man. I think the ML63 might be the newest car I ever own, but I guess time will tell. But for now, I think that's going to be true for a while. A Benz dealer after left Dodge and drove a 202 C230. Never drove a Benz before. Clapped out POS, but still drove it. Yeah, that was like, so the story of me buying the first compressor, it was at kind of a shady dealership, but it was a one owner and had great records. It had like a University of Washington doctor's sticker on the back. So, car owned by a doctor. Definitely had some money to keep it upkept and dealer serviced. The transmission had been replaced on it because people that were dumb back in the day and believed the lifetime fluid thing with the 722.6s, it probably ate itself up. It was 120,000 miles when I bought it, and the transmission was replaced at 100,000. So I was like, what's the worst that could happen? This is my brand new experience to a Mercedes, but what could go wrong? 4-cylinder, just got a brand new transmission. Let me take care of it. Should be okay. So, yeah. And then, like I said, it was so solid and so fun. That car is like, those cars are kind of sleeper for what they are. I mean, they're around 200 horsepower, 200 torque, but they're relatively light, pretty nimble, W202, and super easy to work on. Nowadays, you can actually do some cool mods to the 2-liter compressor motors. But at the time, I did some stuff. Like, I did all DIY stuff on it. They didn't really have parts for it at the time, at least that I could find back then. But if they had them, I definitely would have done it. Yeah, M157s, they're awesome, but very iffy. I agree. They like you could accidentally end up with a lemon if you go M157. I feel like it's a bit scary. Cylinder head, yeah. They should have just kept using all the Alusil stuff that they use on all the older cars. I don't know if those have the Alusil or that's the issue that causes with cylinder heads, but I know the M157 can be a bit weird. Fantastic, I mean, idea though. The V mount, they're a very cool looking engine. They absolutely rip, but I don't know if I'd want to own one. Factory turbo cars kind of scare me in general sometimes. If I was gonna turbo something, I'd rather like build something and turbo it myself. Certain cars though, like there's definitely good turbo cars out there. Let me look back at your guys' stuff. I might have to go in a little bit. My phone's slowly dwindling away battery life, but oh, I see your car. Yeah, drove your first S-Class after that, hooked after that one. Yeah. Well, okay. So speaking of being hooked, so W202 was great. The first 203 I had, the compressor 203 was cool. That one was like a brand new car basically because it was grandma owned, 60,000 miles. But man, the first time I got to go down to that dealership in Tacoma and drive the C55, I couldn't even sleep that night. I was like, that car is incredible. I have to figure out a way to get this car. And that's what made me haggle the dealership for a month long and eventually get it. And then nowadays, I wish I could take all of you guys like for a ride in the C55 because it's unreal now, like how planted this car feels. And they already feel fantastic with the factory suspension. But with everything I've done to this car, sway bars, all the upgraded suspension now, control arm bushings, all the little poly bushings I put throughout, engine mounts from Creative Steel, the transmission mount from Creative Steel, this car feels bananas. I actually need to take this car on a track because I can't really find its limit on the street. And maybe in my younger days I would have, but me being a dad now, like I don't think about just myself. So I don't try to go crazy on the streets anymore. So I really need to take this to a track to find out what the true limit is. Because right now I don't know. Like it's very planted. So that's definitely on the list. At least go to like an autocross event. And then summer, I'm hoping to make it over to the Ridge, if you guys are familiar, in the Pacific Northwest. Very well-known track in like the west side of Washington. I would feel you, man. If a C50, oh man, I would crush my heart for my C55. God forbid. I hope nothing happens to any of you guys' cars ever, unless you guys sell them and decide to move ways with them. But yeah, I hope nothing ever happens to my cars. That's why, like I said, I'm always, I don't know, I guess it's learned with my years. I'm careful on the streets nowadays. Like I pick and choose when I'm gonna drive spiritedly, when I'm gonna go fast. Number one, I don't want to get in trouble because I got a lot on the plate and people relying on me. But in general, I care about my life. I care about other people. Now, my younger self, I wasn't always the smartest driving on the roads as far as keeping things safe. But nowadays, I definitely try to be conscious. But yeah, I'm sorry you lost the C55, but I'm glad you got a C63 to replace it. That's a good replacement if you have to. Definitely a good placeholder. Yeah, I honestly, I'm excited. I have to do that this summer. I've been talking about it the last few summers, and every time some big project comes up, like last summer was the manual swap on the W24, and then before that was everything we did to the C55. But every summer I'm like, I got to make it out to the Ridge. I got to make it out to the Ridge for a real track day. And I have to this summer. I actually have to because I really want to find out what this car is capable of. I also need to get it over to a weigh station to see what the weight is at because I have to have shed probably 250 to 300 pounds out of the car by now. So I'm very curious to see what it weighs as well. Blue C55. Speaking of blue C55, there was one for sale in Eastern Washington. It was a pretty good deal. I considered. I'm not gonna lie. It was like $8 grand, 130,000 miles. It was a dark blue. I think it had C63 wheels on it or something like that, but It seemed like a pretty good car and pretty good price. I don't know if it sold. It just kind of disappeared, so maybe it did, but it was listed for quite a while. I talked to the dealership at the time, but doing brake lines. You got to remove the subframe anyways. Who's doing subframe? Oh, I see. Yeah, the W204. Is there a Jake? Is there a recall, official recall for that now? By the way, I feel like there has to be. I feel like I did see something recently that says there was. Cause those, dude, W204 subframes are wild. Oh, you still okay? Yeah, you don't even need a consolation prize, and you still got a white 06 C55. That's awesome. Extended warranty. Okay, I mean that's something at least, but the craziest deal I saw within the last year was locally. There was a 2005 E55 that sold literally within like an hour for like $5,000. That had been sitting. It was a one-owner car, like 100,000 miles. It had been sitting because the SBC system failed on it, and the guy probably didn't know that they had been whatever lifetime warranty or grandfathered in or whatever. Like, if you go to the dealer with the car that doesn't have the SBC system working, they'll basically just go for it right there. So whoever got that car got like the steal of a lifetime. But that was the craziest deal I've seen in a recent time. Oh, and a buddy of mine locally just picked up a C36 for like $2,800, 120,000 miles, which I don't know too much details on it, but it looked like it was a good deal. The other thing that made this car feel like a great deal for what I paid for it, it's got updated wiring harnesses and the other little mods, but yeah, the upper harness has been replaced, the lower harness has been replaced. The only thing I need to do a rebuild on, which I'll do a video for it, but I'll do the throttle body wiring. Even that, like, I got to check it out because it's taped up. Chances are, like, I checked the date code, it is a 95. So chances are it's original wiring like my E420 was. So I'm definitely going to pull it out to verify. But that was a huge win for me when I found out that the upper and lower harness had been replaced on these, because the C36 specific upper harness is very hard to find and very expensive if you do. You can use the regular M104s, but they have a bit different plugs for like coolant sensors and a few other things, different lengths on a few different extensions on for it. But yeah, other plans, definitely gotta do the valve cover, by the way. Thing not looking too great, but it's all there, so pretty good. There's something special hiding down there that has to do with tomorrow's video. That's all I'll say. But because you guys are here, you guys get the sneak preview. And I guess if you see what's on that box right there. Yikes. Anyways. Oh, also, let me get your guys' feedback. Have you guys noticed, for those that have watched recent videos, have you guys noticed, like, is the quality better? I've been using this camera. Like, is it noticeable for you guys? Do you appreciate that? Do you care? I literally use my iPhone for the first 3 years of making videos on all the cars. So if you guys have noticed the camera quality being different, let me know. Yeah, I know, 5K. It was insane. It was gone. I'm not kidding. My brother-in-law found it. Or no, I found it. I sent it to my brother-in-law. When I found it, it was like 30 minutes old. I was calling the guy off the hook. And yeah, didn't even get an answer. Didn't even get a response. The car was gone. It was, yeah, insane. Whoever got that car literally got to go pick it up, probably just trailed it straight to the dealership and said, hey, my SBC system failed. Can you rebuild this? And got a 5K E55. Crazy. Can tell big difference. Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Very good to hear. Would you do headers on the C? I really want to, but there's only like one company that I found that makes a set of headers, and they're a new company. This is a new thing that's being made in Colorado. I got to hit them up, but nobody makes like any type of long tubes or like any type of headers for M104s besides, like, there's a lot of turbo manifolds and stuff like that. But if you guys know of any headers, I haven't found any. Oh, Elijah, you just said, well, hey, then you get to live with the good quality. Don't even look at the old videos. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've filmed everything. I'm on an iPhone 2020 SE right now. So that's what I filmed with for the last year and a half. And then the year before that was an older SE, the old, whatever the year that was, like a 2016 iPhone SE. That's what I used for filming for the longest time. And then just recently got this Canon. It's a SL3. And I still need to get a different lens for it because I have to shoot on scene mode right now, which is doesn't have the manual controls. Because if I use it on manual like I would like to with all my settings, it is too zoomed in with the current lens that's on it. So anyways, camera nerd stuff. But so yeah, got to get a different lens for it, but it's pretty awesome the way it is. So I'm happy with it. I'm glad a few of you guys noticed at least quality change. Need a mic. I know I should start wearing a lapel here and there. I actually got a Bluetooth one. I'm using this one for now. It works pretty good, but yeah, I think probably for certain videos especially, I'll try to throw a lapel on because I know it does make it easier to hear. It makes a difference. So I'm trying to get there, man. Trying to make the channel more official for you guys. Also, I might have to bail in a second. I don't know what my phone's at. My phone might be ready to die, and I got to go eat dinner. My hands are freezing. It's like 40 degrees out. It's getting dark, so might have to say my farewell right here for you guys. But thank you guys for hopping in. This is the first official live, so if you're a part of it, I appreciate you guys. Love to all of you guys. Thank you for everything, for always supporting the channel and just being friends in this crazy car world. I love doing this. I'm not gonna stop ever. So if you guys love this stuff, just yeah, let's keep going and keep doing fun stuff together. So thank you guys for joining the first official live. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, noon. Don't miss it. Very, very special video. I'm very grateful to the special guests that came all the way up to Washington to be a part of the video, provide parts, do all kinds of stuff. Hey, what's up, Michael? I just saw you. Hey Boys Garage. You guys go check out any YouTube channel in this chat right now. Go check them out. Go show them love. But anyways, much love to all you guys. Be safe as well. Peace. I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for being here. Adios. My phone's literally dying. Hello to anyone that watches it in the future. Thank you guys for stopping by. But yeah, see you guys next one. Peace.